Welcome, everybody. My name is Cody from the Future Students team here at University of the Sunshine Coast. Tonight, we're here to talk about starting your university journey in July this year, which is a really great opportunity for you to understand, I guess, what sort of pathways are available, what sort of programs you can get started in, as well as the best way to apply instead of waiting for 2026. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we work and live and recognize their continuing connection to land, water, and community. We pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So, to get started this evening, we really want you to understand of what opportunities are available to you. So, to understand your best circumstance, feel free to start throwing questions in all throughout the evening around programs, entry, and those questions that you really need answered to understand what is the best options for you. So, there is a Q&A tab available at the top or bottom of your screen. This is where Alyssa or Jody, our two future student team members, will be able to answer those questions straight away. Little bit later on, we're also going to have a panel discussion. This is where we are joined by Sue and Lucy, who are two of our current students at UniSC. They're going to talk about their university experiences, maybe the pathway they gain, how they gain entry into university, as well as what does balance look like for them. Obviously, being two students who are halfway through and have not completed their study journey, they have a wealth of experience being able to provide some advice and tips and tricks to really get through to that finish line. So if you're new to UniSC and don't know a lot about our institution, we're actually a multi-campus university. We have a range of 5 campuses on the east coast of Australia, as well as a new campus down in South Australia in Adelaide, literally called University of Sunshine Coast Adelaide. So for our East Coast campuses, we have Fraser Coast, Gympie, Sunshine Coast, Caboolture, and Moreton Bay. And these are amazing campuses designed with purpose-built degrees that are to help you gain positions in your local footprint. For example, Fraser Coast, Gympie, and Caboolture are really specialized around pathway programs, nursing, human services, and community service-based programs. These are high demand job fields in these footprints, including education as well, and an opportunity for you to study locally, gain employment locally, as well as not have to leave your support network. We do have our two major campuses, Sunshine Coast and Moreton Bay. These are what we call our full service offering campuses. This is where you see your typical university settings, where you have a range of different services inside and outside of studies, a huge range of programs, anywhere to up to 120 different programs available at these campuses, as well as a range of different social clubs and community networks. Not to forget that you can also study online. Many of our degrees are available online and on campus, or you could be someone like myself. When I was studying, I decided to do the combination of the both. Now, I am a past business student, so I was able to choose campus subjects, as well as choosing that one subject that kind of didn't align to me in the timetable to being on campus and chose to do it online. Now, not all degrees have this availability or this flexibility, but to note that even our full on campus degrees do have somewhat of a hybrid learning model available to you. Talking about our degrees, we do have a huge range, and more than 90% of these programs are available to start in July. Anywhere from nursing, health, business, law, education degrees, postgraduate programs as well. A heap of offerings are available to you to not have to wait another 6 months for you to be able to start your journey now. Most importantly, my favorite part of July is that if you are someone who wants to pursue a pathway program, such as a bridging program, we do have an array of versions of these. It's something you can get started, really understand what study looks like for you, get all those skills that you really need so you can jump into your bachelor's level of study as of 2026. When it comes to looking at our programs, there are some key aspects you need to look for to understand, am I going to meet the entry requirements? So, first of all, check the campus offering. Make sure that program you are interested in is available to study in July. After that, you want to check your selection rank. Now, in school, if you are a school leaver, what you're actually looking for is the ATAR. This is the exact same score. It's just once you finish school, we call this a selection rank, and this is used all across Australia. Now, some programs do have prerequisites, and they also have recommended prior study. Now, a prerequisite is when you had to complete a certain unit of study to be able to gain entry. Now, not to worry, if you are looking at a certain degree that has an English requirement or a science requirement, you can pick this up through our bridging programs and be able to start your bachelor's level of study with those meeting those prerequisite requirements in semester 1, February 2026. So it's a great way to have a taste test of university, get through those prerequisites, upskill at the same time, as well as gain entry. The best part about it, our TPP program, Tertiary Preparation Pathway, is completely fee-free for domestic students. So now you know about our locations, as well as the range of programs we have available to you. It's a good time to understand, what does support look like at studying at UniSC. Now, we have a range of amazing support services, and we will probably touch base with some of our students a little bit later on what support services they've utilized throughout their study journey. Some really big support services that I highly recommend is academic and study support, careers and employment, financial support and scholarships. We'll definitely talk about that one in a moment, as well as student groups and partnership opportunities. This is a great way for you to connect to other students, create those networks and those long-term relationships. Now, I'm just going to highlight the careers and employment team. They're a really big team that I'm really passionate about, because they're a fantastic team that are not just there for the end of your journey when you're looking for those graduate positions, but they're there to help you at the start as well. So, for example, if you're sitting here tonight and you're going, I'm a little bit lost, I don't know where I want to go, maybe I'm passionate about education or business or law. But there's so many different areas in those programs that I might want to pursue. For example, business degrees have a range of different majors and minors available to you. Fantastic thing about most of our degrees is that you could pursue a certain major or minor, and if you get to the end of your first year and decide, you know what, I actually want to change over due to the range of experiences I've had this year, you can change over, and most of you, if not all your programs, will change over with you. And that's what happens usually when you're in the same course area. So, for example, programs such as business or even engineering is a really great example. Although we do civil, mechanical, or electronic and mechatronic, the first year is what we call a common year, a really great year for you to explore, I guess, the industry and then move into your specialization. That same team, as mentioned, is there to help you when it comes to applying for graduate jobs, how to prepare, where to find them, what job sites are available, and how to make sure your application is set up for putting your best foot forward. Really fantastic team. So, financial support. Now, we talk about scholarships all the time, and we really want to highlight this to you in the very start of your journey. We give away more than 90% of our scholarships to equity or hardship element students. So this means you do not have to be the smartest person in the room to receive funding from the university or from our donors. We have scholarships around your program basis, maybe your background, maybe you're someone who's moving from a regional footprint area, maybe you're someone who wants to stay in your regional footprint area. Maybe you're studying a degree that has heaps of placement requirements and therefore needs some bursaries to support you on those experiences. We have so many scholarships available to you, and they're designed for new and current students. So, what the best step forward is, scholarship applications open twice per year. Once you have an offer from UniSC, you can then apply for a scholarship if those scholarships are still open. What I recommend is applying for scholarships every single time they're open for the whole entirety of your degree. And the reason I say that is, A, it's only one application and it puts you into all the scholarships that you're deemable for. But also, scholarships change and there's new offers that come out all the time, and there's new donor scholarships that come out all the time. But my favorite part of this is that one of my really good friends was studying social work. She was in her third year. She had an 8-week block coming up. Although she applied for scholarships every single year, she finally got a placement bursary of $5,000 in her third year of study, especially when she was choosing to do a remote study experience. Really great scholarship, helped her cover her cost of living as well as her accommodation, as well as the fact that she was going to miss out on income for a total of 8 weeks because she was going to move out of home for this chapter. Really great scholarship opportunities. Like I mentioned, it's one application. It will automatically put you into all the scholarships that you'd be suitable for, and they open twice a year. So please apply. It's the best money well spent in terms of return on investment, sorry, that you'll ever receive. It usually takes anywhere from 20 minutes to 30 minutes to complete an application. So pathways to UniSC. There are so many different pathways to UniSC, and not all pathways are suitable for every single student. So we do have our traditional ATAR pathway, which is usually for our school leavers or those who have just finished school in the last couple of years. And with those school leaver students, we also have early offer guarantee. Now, if you're currently still in school and want to learn more about EOG, jump on our website or connect to your careers advisor in school. They have a wealth of knowledge if you're a part of our footprints. EOG should be opening up in the next couple of months, ready for you to apply for 2026 if you are in year 12. My favorite program in the world is Chetri Preparation Pathway Program. This is our 6-month fee-free bridging program. Now, we do have some students here tonight who actually have gone through these programs themselves. This program, as mentioned, is fee-free. It's a great way to have a try before you buy, but most importantly, you will be able to be upskilled in academic writing, literacy and numeracy support. You'll be able to choose some units that align to maybe the degree or program you want to go for in the coming year, as well as receiving one-on-one peer support when it comes to referencing, report writing, journal articling, as well as a range of other support services that are embedded in the program. Now, most other university students have to go seek out the support and find it on our online library, our online support services. But for these TPP students, it's embedded in their program. In fact, if you study TPP with UniSC, when you roll into your bachelor's, you're proven to have a track record of a higher grade point average, which means you're expected to get better grades due to the learning skills that you've already received, as well as a higher chance of completion of your degree. And this is because when you jump into your bachelor's level of study, you're going to be focused on the content in front of you versus all the other students who are studying uni for the very first time, where a lot of them going to be like, okay, I know I'm good at this program. I know I'm passionate about it, but I still need to learn the university systems and processes. Now, for those students who are jumping into their bachelor's level study straight away without going through a bridging program, don't worry. Just go to orientation. Orientation will be your best friend in terms of getting used to UniSC, receiving that support, meeting a range of amazing students, as well as connecting to your academics. Highly recommend go to orientation. It will make your week one of study so much easier. I- Other pathways that are available to our students is diploma level of study. You can level up as you want to study. For example, we have the Diploma of Allied Health Services and the Diploma of Education and the Diploma of Sciences. And this means you can do a first year of study and then use that diploma to move into your second year of study. We also have selection rank. So for example, if you have completed a certificate 3, a certificate 4, or a diploma, you can use this as a pathway into university. For example, a certificate 3 gives you a ranking score of 68. So any program on our website that has a 68 or below, as long as they don't have a prerequisite such as English, science, or maths, you can gain entry straight into that program with your certificate 3. Your certificate 4 gives you a ranking score of 74, and your diploma level of study. No matter if it was business and you want to apply for health, it's completely okay. An AQF level diploma will give you a score of 82, and that 82 will help you gain entry into a range of our programs. We also have Indigenous direct entry and access schemes. Please jump on our website, learn how that might suit you best if you are Indigenous or Torres Strait Islander, as well as as well as the Access Uni SC scheme. Please jump on our website and learn more about that if that might be suitable for you. So if you are in the early parts of your journey, you're not quite sure the direction you want to go, or you might thinking, you know what? University is a big jump. Is it going to be right for me? How can I take a couple of extra steps before really securing this long-term commitment? We have an amazing program, and we actually have Alyssa here, who's the coordinator of UniSC Equip. UniSC Equip is a fee-free government-funded program offering short workshops and individual phone consults as long as you're 18 plus and over. This means if you're looking at studying at university or TAFE, Alyssa, who's here tonight, will be able to help you on that journey. It's literally one-on-one case management. It's there to support you on what that journey looks like. And for example, if you are thinking about a program that's not available at UniSC, Alyssa will be able to point you and connect you on that right journey, which is a really amazing relationship you get to have, but also understand that we're here to support you on whatever that study journey may look like. So what does UniSC Equip look like in terms of workshops? So there's a range of 3 workshops, and the best way I like to describe it is you get to level up on the way. So Workshop one, what does returning to study look like? So if it's been a long time for you, maybe the kids are moving out of home or you're changing careers, or maybe you didn't finish school and you're going, you know what, I'm thinking about nursing, or I'm thinking about education, or I'm thinking about social work. Where do I even begin? This is a great way to receive advice, go through the learning processes, as well as understanding the steps to study. So workshop one completely covers that in a well-versed, in-depth sort of workshop, as well as the fact that Alyssa will connect with you after that workshop and really help you on a personalized level. Workshop two is exploring careers. What career is right for you? What other careers exist that you didn't realize are really aligned to your values? As well as workshop three is our study skills workshop. How can you get a quick extra couple of skills ready to get going before you study? Some of these skills exist in our TPP program, but it's great to have an understanding before you jump in. Great way to get these strategies, how to find information. All these great skills will help you no matter where you decide to study, if it's at UniSC or through our TAFE partners or another institution. Highly recommend jumping on our website, type in Equip, and registering for a workshop or connecting to Alyssa directly for a phone consult. So you have a wealth of knowledge about our university, and I'm sure I've been talking a little bit too much, but it's probably understand it's like, okay, that's great. So how do I apply for July? So what you need to do is search our website at usc.edu.au to find the degree that you want to study, check the entry requirements, and then apply online at QTAC, or press the apply now button, which will take you straight over to QTAC. Follow the QTAC steps. What I would like to recommend is that there is a range of degrees available for you in July. Now, not every degree is available to start. For example, nursing is available at across all of our campuses, but as of the last week, Sunshine Coast and Moreton Bay nursing locations are now closed for applications. This is because they are seemingly popular and have overfilled or over-enrolled in those programs. But not to worry, we still have Fraser Coast, Gympie, as well as Caboolture, within 1 hour to half an hour from these major locations. So what happens if you really want to study at Sunshine Coast or Moreton Bay Nursing? What is the best step forward? Well, maybe you're a student who actually wants to go through one of our bridging programs. You could actually choose to study TPP and start that journey in July, complete your bridging program, and there at Sunshine Coast or at Moreton Bay or at any of our other campuses, and then start your nursing journey in February next year at Sunshine Coast or Moreton Bay. So if that campus isn't available to you right now, but you know you want to jump straight into nursing, for example, choose another location that might be just as convenient to you. And that is a great thing about being a multi-campus university. There is a lot of flexibility. If you do have further questions about what applying looks like for you when it comes to those nursing programs or any other program that might not be available in July, feel free to contact our team. We'll pass on their details at the very end, or throw in your question in the Q&A bar. We'll be able to answer them live as well. So what we're doing for all the students here tonight, or prospective students who are looking to study in July, is that we're giving away free QTAC vouchers. QTAC vouchers are valued over $100, and we want to give them to you for free as you're attending tonight. Now, if you have already applied, not to worry. Unfortunately, these aren't redeemable or refundable. However, the best thing is you know that you already have your best foot forward and have applied and made it through the offer rounds. If you can't scan that QR code voucher right now, no need to worry. We'll send you an email tomorrow morning with the QTAC voucher request form. You just need to fill out some details. We'll send you a QTAC voucher in the next 24 to 48 hours once that form has been completed. So when do you need to apply? Well, our next intake actually starts on the 14th, but the final QTAC date to apply is on the 10th of July. Now, if I could pass on any advice, it would be apply sooner rather than later. The sooner you apply, the sooner offer round comes around, as soon as you get in, the sooner you have the greatest opportunities to choose a timetable that suits you best. The earlier you get in, obviously, the more class schedules that are available in terms of some classes have multiple availabilities, and therefore you can pick a schedule that really works for you. So please apply sooner rather than later. I can't stress that enough, especially if you're someone who's balancing family, work, and all other commitments outside of study. I do recommend it does make your life a lot easier. My favorite part of the evening is now for the panelist discussion. If I could get Lucy and Sue to jump on camera for us now. Amazing. So, to get started for this evening, Sue or Lucy, would you be able to introduce yourselves and just quickly, just reminding everyone, start throwing your questions in the Q&A tab. We're going to start answering them live, but also Jody and Alyssa are answering them for you. So feel free to keep throwing your questions in the Q&A tab. And now I'm going to start asking some questions to our two current students. So, Sue, Lucy, could you introduce yourself? I guess where you're up to in your study journey, and of course, what are you studying? And Sue, you can go first.
Yeah, I was reading Lucy's hand movements there. Um, Hello, everybody. My name is Sue. I am a student of criminology and justice. I have just completed my final exam for semester this morning. So I am officially halfway through my degree, which is very exciting. I should have that completed by the end of next year. So yeah, really excited to have that done.
Wonderful. And my name is Lucy. I am finished my degree actually, and in the waiting period currently for an application for a PhD program within theatre and performance. So I finished a creative industries bachelor and proceeded to do an honours in the same field, and now using that experience and that knowledge which I've gained to go into research within the theatre and performance and community collaborative space. So really exciting things to come forward.
I have so many more questions when it comes to HDR and any sort of research. I guess the next step is kind of understanding what made you choose your area of studies. Now, you guys have had probably a wealth of life experience before coming back to university. What made you choose your area of study, as well as how did you gain entry? And Lucy, I'll just go to you this time first. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So, my area was a little interesting to come into. So, I started university when I was much younger, so in my 20s. And when I gave that a touch and gave it a go, I started off in nursing and found that it just didn't quite align with me at that time. And there were some things going on where I needed to take a step back from study and go into the workforce. Now, when I was in the workforce, I found myself falling into, as most 20-year-olds do, the hospitality industry, but that also led into more of the entertainment industry. And I started doing a lot more presentations, emceeing, some modeling, some acting, and it kind of triggered off this creative excitement that I had. And then when I hit my 30s after I'd had my children, I decided it was time to come back to study. And I started off studying a secondary education with a minor in theatre. But as that journey progressed, I found that the theatre was actually my passion and where most of my interests really blossomed. And I found my people, which is a huge thing when you're in university. And so I changed my degree to come across from secondary education through to a full study of creative industries during COVID. So that was a grand old time. And then in that space, yeah, that's how I kind of found where I wanted to be, and we had a lot of experiences that then led into these areas of study where I could unpack those things in quite a way that I wouldn't even have expected, but also that showed me opportunity that I wouldn't have expected if I hadn't have studied those specifics. Getting into university for me was multifaceted, but the main reason that I got in this way was I actually had a certificate for in ministry, of all things. From when I finished high school, I went straight to Bible college and I did a cert for in ministry. And eventually, when I came back when I was 30, my cert for was what got me into university, into the creative arts, which I just think is ironic, but also beautiful. It's very timely.
So you're really one of those students, and to be honest, I feel like I've done this in work experience wise, maybe not study wise, who's really tried a lot of different things to really find your why. And then as soon
Hmm.
as you finally found it, well, now you're going into research. Now you're
Yeah,
fully all like wrapped up around it and want to go down that academia route. And sounds like not leave
absolutely.
the university at this point in
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
um,
absolutely. There's a term that's thrown around which is called your career portfolio, and I love that term because I would suggest that all of these little experiences that I've had where I've touched and played with little different kind of career choices has really come together to support what I now do. And so my role, what I do outside of the university now, is really well linked with the university, but also uses all of those skill sets that I have from previous experience and then have grown even more within what I did within my degree. But then, yes, going further into research is because I have found this niche of passion projects that I often get to explore and can see repercussions within the community, and that really excites me. So, bit of a nerd, and also love my theatre, so works perfectly.
The two things, but I sometimes go together, sometimes don't. But
Yeah,
usually using left hand and right hand side of your brain. Obviously, there's
yeah.
a lot of data, a lot of research, a lot of sample sizing traditionally in that sort of
Oh
research
yeah,
aspect,
yeah.
but also being also very creative. That it's a very unique personality type. So that's really awesome to hear, and I can't wait to see how your research journey goes. So Sue,
Thank you
over
very
to
much.
you. Obviously you've had a wealth of life experience, and I know you've been very passionate about your training background and your travels. What made you pursue your degree, but also how did you gain entry?
Okay, I get really excited when I listen to Lucy speak because I can hear the passion in her voice for what she does, and I think that is something that we have in common. Um, I took the long and winding road to get to university. I love that Cody says that I have a wealth of life knowledge. That's because I am quite old. It's taken me a while to get here. I didn't actually even complete high school. I finished in year 11. University, higher education was not something that I thought was on the cards for me, even though that I had always had an idea that I thought I would like to come to university. I would like to go, and I actually thought I would come and study law. But I had a family quite young, and I have spent a lot of time raising them. I ended up working in sport and rec with swimming, and then as a personal trainer, I've worked in sales. I've done a little bit of everything, but all of those experiences, as Lucy said, come with me into my study. So they really do assist me in what I'm learning now. I've definitely found my passion. I found what aligned with me. The reason I have gone into criminology and justice instead of law is because I actually didn't know criminology and justice was a degree until I spoke to a counsellor and got some guidance. And they suggested that I should have a look at that because after speaking to me and speaking to my friends, they felt it might align more with my purpose. And I have absolutely found my purpose. I am very, very passionate about criminology, particularly prevention. I'm planning on going on to do my honours so that I can as well work in research. Lucy and I are never leaving the university because we love it. But yeah, the way I got there was actually I have a Cert 4 in fitness as a personal trainer, and that gave me the entry selection ranking that I needed to go in and study criminology.
Fantastic. Oh, well, I don't need to speak, I guess, when it comes to work experiences leading you to degrees, but it's something that I'm really passionate about, especially across most of our degrees, if not all of our degrees. They have an element of what we call work integrated learning or internships or placement experiences. And, some myths around that is like, oh, no, you have to go out and do 12 weeks in a remote area and you have to leave your home and support network and it's like, and you don't earn money, but it's such a positive thing, and especially the fact that you actually don't have to do any regional services whatsoever. You actually have to apply for those regional remote opportunities because they are an opportunity to go out and do those certain fields. But in your work experiences, because you guys do both kind of different degrees, I always reflect with like, oh, education and nursing, they of course they have placement experiences when you're in the workplace. But for programs such as in criminal and justice studies or in education or creative arts or anything like that, what does work experience, have you had the chance to complete any of these sort of work integrated learning opportunities? Sue, I'll go over to you first because I always find it interesting what they do in the law school.
Okay, I haven't had the opportunity to complete it yet, but I am applying for next semester. We have internships available to us called the Clary internships, which are through the criminal research that we have on campus. So we're really fortunate to have the opportunity on our campus to complete an internship alongside of our lecturers. We can actually be a second or third year student and end up with a published paper if we work alongside our researchers doing that, and that's an opportunity available to us. We also do professional placement is part of our degree as a course, and we have opportunities. I will be applying to do that next year. there's also an opportunity that I might be able to go and do that overseas, possibly in Cambodia, particularly looking at human trafficking. So, the opportunities I see within my studies, I think are so exciting because they're hands-on and they're very specific to the area that I want to go into research at the end of my degree.
Unreal. And it's my favorite part, especially when they count towards subjects. It's like, oh, I can actually go somewhere and do something instead of like study in a classroom. Now, you guys are both wanting to go down research, so sounds like you don't mind being in a classroom. But being a business student, especially being a past like marketing strategy sort of student, I really wanted to be in the workshop in the workplace and utilizing strategies that are in real life circumstances. So that was something I was really passionate about. And Lucy, what about you? What does work integrated learning look like for you?
Yeah, so within the business and creative industries, we do have two lines when you get to the third year. So you can do what's called work integrated learning placement, or you can go down the research pathway. It's the same BCI third year subject, but they just do it for the two different kind of people within theatre. It's actually worked really, really well. I chose the research pathway simply because that's what I wanted to do going forward within my academic career. However, close friends of mine chose the placement side, and they went to do work with places like the Horizon Festival, and they would commit 92 hours of their semester to being hands-on involved with the organization, structure, and running of the Horizon Festival. That's just one exemplar. But from my end now, I get to kind of do the other side. So within the workplace that I work for now, which is a quite globally renowned tourist venue, I am the entertainment coordinator for that place now. As part of now I've got my degree and I get to use those skills. But I have now established a opportunity with university students, theatre and performance university students, to come and do their placement at my tourist venue. So that my tourist venue is quite a unique opportunity. So I will be taking 5 UniSC students to come and do daily theatre performances of hands-on industry professional placement, where they get to be in an environment that isn't a theatre, be in an environment that isn't just script writing or behind a camera. It's actually we call it guest interaction, but we are putting on a face and using all of those skills in a really personable manner, writing scripts, creating content, all of these things which we see every day when we're using our phones, and in the world when you're going to different venues that have a guest relations kind of space, and using that experience for university students to be able to test out their skills in the field a little bit before their degree finishes. So I didn't do it myself, but I am able now to help facilitate that for students. So there's opportunity coming up literally in a month of students coming across. So it's very exciting.
Sounds like a lot of responsibility. I guess
Come
that's
at
the
me. I love it.
it sounds exciting though, especially the connections and relationships you meet. Obviously, it sounds like there are, especially a lot of those people come from different backgrounds themselves. So the
Yeah.
opportunity to network, create long-term relationships, as well as future employment sounds pretty strong
This
in
is
that sort of
exactly
area.
right. Because particularly within creative industries, networking is huge. It's massive. So working within this industry, we get to meet different people that may have a different kind of skill set to you, but yours complement theirs. And together you can create something new. So being within creative industries, networking is really important. So these placement opportunities are excellent for students and for industry professionals to connect with upcoming people that are coming into the field with new, exciting ideas and fresh thinking, but also for students to go in and see how it works outside of a university setting. So it's a very unique opportunity for anyone to do placement, whether it's in theatre or whether it's in criminology, because it's really great to bridge that gap, and super important to do as well.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it sounds really exciting, and once again, very practical for inside and outside of study. Uh, so I guess from here we have a wealth of knowledge about pathways of gaining entry, the programs you're doing, the direction you want to go. I guess what does uni look like for you? I think this is like a question that's coming from the audience as well. I think we have a lot of mature audiences here who maybe haven't studied in a while or maybe finished school. quite a long time ago, and they're like, okay, well, how do I fit in, I guess, work, study, because it's not a 1 year commitment. It can be 3 years, 4 years, or maybe for you guys, never ending. But what does study look like? What does a term look like? How do you fit in everything else that you're committed to? It sounds like you both have families. What does that look like for you? And Sue, I'll go over to you first. How do you fit in your study, but also how do you fit in your other passions within and outside of that?
Cody, you know what my passions are, see? So, I mean, I love being at university. There is nothing that I don't like about it. I started off part-time with my courses because I just needed to ease my way in. As I said, I hadn't been in school since year 11, which last century, as some of our younger students like to point out to me, was when I was studying. So it was a long time. I did do a portion of the TPP before I started. I did do academic skills, which honestly paved the way for me to come in and feel like I knew what the expectation was going to be and just helped me hone some of those skills before I started and gave me that confidence. Um, and balancing it, I have to balance my life because I love to travel. So I travel any opportunity that I get. The beauty of university for me has been having a nice long break over the Christmas break where I've been able to head overseas for an extended period of time. I'm taking advantage of that because I know once I go back to full-time work that's not going to happen. So I do get to indulge my passions for travel, but also I compete as a power lifter and I dabble in free diving in my spare time as well. So my training is demanding. I was fortunate enough to be able to travel to South Africa to compete last year, so it's another load on me. But this last semester, I have gone full time. I've done my full courses. I am keeping up with my training, keeping up with my competing, and getting back into my freediving. So you can do it. My family are grown, so I don't have that concern of having young children anymore. But my schedule is tight, and I enjoy it. It's nothing feels like work to me. Everything I'm doing in my life is of my choosing. And one thing I will say is coming to UniSC is to get involved in as many things as you can. I'm also involved with students as partners, so I volunteer on campus, and I'm also the co-chair of one of the student groups and sit on the student senate. So it's all about getting involved. It gives me greater connections, greater networking, as Lucy was saying. I can't walk across campus now without somebody waving and saying hello to me. And that's a really nice feeling because I feel like I belong.
Yeah, fantastic. Lucy, over to you. What has that looked like for you?
Yeah, so when I first started my degree, I started with I believe, my son is now 8 and my daughter's 7. So they would have been 3 and 2. So I had really little kids when I first started university. So I started off doing 3 subjects. So that still counts as a full-time workload. But for me, it was enough that I could, again, like you said, Sue, just take a bite and see how it kind of worked for me. So I ended up doing 3 subjects for the majority of my degree. So I stretched out the time that I studied from 3 years to 4 years. And then at the very, very end, I ended up doing 4 subjects for my final semester. But for the entirety of most of my degree, it was 3 subjects. Now, you mentioned early, Cody, that there's a hybrid option of study. So I took that opportunity as well. So 2 of the subjects that I did would be on campus, but the third would be online. So what I did is, because I could fit in having 1 day away from my children because they'd be at grandma's for the day, or eventually they went to kindy or to school, that I could have 1 day that I was on campus to be in the space and to be connecting with workshops and tutorings. But then I would, exactly as I'm doing right now, do an online course once a week as well, where I'd sit in front of my computer whilst the kids were either watching a movie or dad was cooking them dinner, or even later at night when they'd gone to bed, and I could be involved in a class once a week. So that's how I structured that. With the early mum life and with work that was put around that. I'm also the president of my kids' P&C at their school. So lots of little dabbling things. But because I think the beauty of university is that it is so flexible, and there is a lot of one of the best ways I like to describe it to anybody is university wants you there. We want you to upskill, and they want you to be successful in it. So they're going to set you up for success. So they offer as many opportunities as they can to support you within your careers, counseling, or your tutors touching base with you when you need help or anything like that. Excuse me. But they also offer online courses and in-class courses. I'm choking. Sorry, excuse me.
You're
Getting
right.
emotional about it apparently. But it was really accommodating. So I could work it as best as I could for my schedule and align with what the university had to offer. But I think as well, one of the main things that was the driving force for all of that was, and it sounds kind of cheesy, but university filled my cup. I was a mum and I was in my early 30s and I didn't know what I want to be when I grow up. I'll be completely honest. And I'd had a bit of a midlife crisis, but I was doing it for my kids' future because I wanted to provide them with a strong, clean future. But I was also doing it for me. I wanted to prove something to myself that I was able to do it, and it filled my cup being there. And I said before that I met my people, and it's 100% true. So even when there are those challenging times and the assignment that you're doing at 11 o'clock at night because you've just had a screaming kid and you've just worked all day, you still find that part in you that's like, yes, but I want this. And you hold on to that and you message or email your tutor saying, hey, look, just so you know, heads up, this is what's happening for me at the moment. And those tutors are super accommodating, go, yep, no dramas, we can work it within how we can work it. But also, you're sitting there at 11 o'clock at night staring at the screen doing your assignment. There's something that's like, yes, but I deserve this. And I deserve the effort that's going into it. And I know I can do it.
That's awesome.
Getting meaningful.
And that's completely okay because it is a journey, especially once you get close. It sounds like you're very close to, well, finish line of your undergrad, but obviously now you're choosing to do a bit more. And I guess this is my last question before there is a couple of questions coming in from the audience as well. However, we've been answering them as we go. It is, I guess, like graduating looks different for everyone. For some, it changes. For some, they know exactly what they want to do from the very beginning and it doesn't steer away from that. You guys sound like you both know, well, where you want to go with this, but when you started your university journey, what did that look like? What was your job or your reason? You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go into this field and I want to have this job. To, I guess, by the time you've had all these experiences and what that's turned into. And Sue, especially for you, it sounds like yours kind of changed quite dramatic. Well, actually, Lucy, yours did too. But Sue, I'll just go over to you. When you started your first semester, what was your dream job and what experiences kind of led you to now changing and wanting to go into, I guess, sounds like research at this point of time?
I had an idea of, I had a drive when I started my degree. Friends of mine have said, why are you doing this at this stage of your life? But the reality is that I don't want to die and have my headstone say she was here. I want to actually, I've got a real passion for contributing back to the community and back to society. And starting my study and doing the courses that I've done so far have honed down that direction for me and really given me a sense of purpose that keeps me going. As Lucy said, on those nights when I'm tired and it's been a big day and I'm sore from training and I'm trying to get an essay completed, it doesn't feel like work because I'm so passionate about everything that I get to write about and study. So my goal now is to go into a research role. I really have a specific area of research around the area of online or the prevention of online child and sexual exploitation and abuse. I'm very specific of where I want to go. And I love now that when I walk past my lecturers on campus, they will look at me and go, Sue, have you thought of what your thesis is going to be about? You know, I haven't even completed my second year yet, and they already know where I'm headed. So, and I do. I have an idea of what I want to write about when I'm doing my dissertation. I already know. So, having that sense of purpose is what continues to drive me forward.
Amazing. And Lucy, over to you. What did you want to start doing? Now, you started off in secondary, and what did you want your job to look like? to how did you end up in research? Was there a key academic that kind of pointed you that direction naturally, or what sort of experiences kind of made that decision?
Yeah, so like I say, yes, I started off doing secondary education with a minor in theatre and performance, and it was through the experiences of being in the theatre and seeing the community that was establishing really organically in those spaces that also then reached outside of that theatre room, but into the wider space of the university itself and into the community, that I found that really interesting. I've experienced those kind of community engagement spaces in professional sporting groups, in other capacities of acting, and also in churches. So I'd seen communities come together, and I'd seen this really organic formation of people really starting to call each other family. And I saw it really powerfully in the theatre, and it really intrigued me. So I wanted to find out why, and I wanted to explore how people could make that happen so we could better our community at large, because eh, getting into some research topics, but post-COVID, our community is very disbanded, and a lot of people I could speak to would say, and I was one of them, felt really, really lonely and felt very, very isolated. And it's thanks to our phones that we engage with people mostly over social media. And we have a very small group of people that we actually even talk to on a day-to-day basis. So I really wanted to explore how we could better our community and teach how to have that village formation again, of being able to trust people that you walk down the street because you know that there's a commonality between the two of you. And I saw that that could be potentially grown from some of the theatre philosophies. So that made me want to explore research. But moving into the career that I have now, I can also see that happening in a workplace environment, but I can still see that they could potentially be bettered from theatre philosophies in a HR mindset. So that's what made me want to go down the research pathway, and really just want it sounds silly again, but wanting to explore community betterment, but be using the things that I've experienced and saw within my degree.
That's so unique. I was just reflecting on my own work career there, and thinking I work with so many people that are from such different walks of life, such different age demographics, different centuries, as we were saying before. Yet we get along so well and reach out to each other, even now that we don't work together anymore, because we have a common interest and common passion in our work field that align us together. And I wasn't really thinking about that until you mentioned it. I was like, oh, I could see how that happens all the time, like the way people
Exactly.
connect.
Exactly.
The new chapter I'm in now with I have a 1-year-old is meeting other parents with 1-year-olds. Once again, we are very different people, different life chapters, different work experiences, but we connect because our kids get along so well, and we seek out ways of commonalities of sport or locations or passions and everything. So maybe it's something about human nature that we naturally want to do and seek out that commonality between each other. Well, maybe certain people want to do that. That's
Yeah,
amazing,
absolutely. Look,
guys.
some of us that are secretly introverts like to do it for short periods of time, but we still find our people within that, you know? So that it is very interesting. And that's what made me want to explore that a little bit more, to find out how we could even take hold of that and teach that so that it becomes a really healthy environment in all different places that we are.
That's amazing. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Sue. We're going to start wrapping up this panel discussion now. Now, if you do have further questions, please throw them into the Q&A chat bar. We're going to be answering them throughout the end of the presentation, and we'll stick around after the presentation and make sure all your questions are answered. I'm going to move to the final chapters of tonight. Once again, I want to thank you so much, Sue and Lucy, two students from UniSC studying on the Sunshine Coast campus and a little bit online as well, for joining us this evening. So, why UniSC? We have a 5-star student experience, a really modern teaching approach. Something that was not raised enough tonight was that we are moving to a trimester model, a really fantastic new learning model called PACE. This is where you can study at a pace that suits you. Now, if you are someone who wants to spread out your subject load, which so many of our students are balancing more than just study, from family, work, travel, as well as extracurricular commitments, as well as some of those students who may want to start getting ahead in their earlier years of their degree to be able to space out the end. There is a lot of flexibility in the new PACE model or our new trimester model. Jump on our website. There's a heap of information on what this looks like from 2026 forward. We have a huge focus on employability across a range of our degrees. We have a high performance culture and we are passionate about sustainability across all of our locations and as an institution. So if you want to explore further on what uni looks like for you, especially if you're looking at studying university in July and need a little bit of extra help, a bit of extra questions answered, really making sure that you're putting your best foot forward for your application, talk to one of our study advisors. You can book in a 30-minute consult. You can find it anywhere on our website. You'll see little sections across all our website where it says book a campus tour or book a consult. Alternatively, you can just call our Student Central team, who are the exact same team who do those campus tours and consults. You can give them a call on 075430 2890. They're available all business hours, Monday to Friday. They are a fantastic team. You can also send them an email if that makes you more comfortable. Once again, we are giving away free QTAC vouchers if you are looking to study in July and you're an Australian domestic student. Now, if you are currently in year 12 and looking at applying for early offer guarantee and studying in 2026, this voucher is not for you, but keep looking out. There might be something coming up in the future for your cohort as well. Now, if you are an international student, where we do have a lot of international students joining us this evening, jump on our website, look at the best way it is to apply for you. You do not need to go through QTAC. That is for Australian domestic students only. International students can apply directly through our website and connect with our international team. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to start logging off now. If there are questions outstanding in the Q&A tab, we will stick around and answer those. Once again, thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing you in study period 2 in July. But most importantly, if you are starting with us in the next month or so, go to orientation and get started, get all the help you need, connect with other students, as well as enjoy the atmosphere that's available to you. If you're not ready to start just yet, come to Open Day. Open Days are kicking off at the end of July and early August across our Sunshine Coast and Moreton Bay campuses. Great way to meet academics, especially if you're passionate about postgrad, as well as having some fun and picking up the vibe that UniSC loves to provide. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening. Look forward to seeing you on campus.